Evening, everyone. My name is Rhythm, and I am a trainee psychologist at Silent.Door. Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Okay. Mm. So welcome everyone to today's workshop, and which is titled "The Psychology of Letting Go," where we'll talk about counseling strategies for detachment and moving on. And we'll explore what letting go really means emotionally, physically, psychologically, and also practically. And I'll also walk you through a few reflective exercises to help you understand your own patterns of attachment. So let's make this space safe, open, and interactive. So I will begin. Okay, so talking about what does letting go really mean? So I would like to ask this to all of you. Like, how would you describe letting go? What it is for you to let go of something? So you can unmute and share your insight.
Some hard feelings which you are holding and then we are not allowing it to go.
Yeah.
Maybe like it could be a juicy banana. We'll be holding it for some reason, but then we don't let it go.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. Anyone?
मैम आई वांट टू टेल वन थिंग अबाउट दिस स्टेटमेंट यहाँ पर एम आई ऑडिबल
Yes, ma'am.
यहाँ पर दो तरह के माइंडसेट काम करते हैं इफ यू आर इन कंफर्ट जोन मींस यू आर इन लव विद योर मदर फादर या वट एवर रिलेशंस यू हैव उस टाइम पे जिसके साथ भी इशू है अगर आप अच्छे और कंफर्टेबल जोन में हैं तो आप चीजों को जाने देते हैं या यू कैन से यू आर फुल ऑफ एनर्जी अगर आप हैं और वो भी एनर्जी पॉजिटिव लव की एनर्जी है कंपैशन की एनर्जी है और अगर आप उस जोन में नहीं हैं आपका माइंडसेट अगर नेगेटिव है तो थोड़े टाइम के लिए आप ये कह सकते हैं कि हाँ चीजें छोड़ दीजिए जाने दीजिए बट वो रियल सेंस में वो जाती नहीं है कहीं ना कहीं वो सबकॉन्शियस माइंड में फोर्स में कन्वर्ट हो जाती हैं
Yes, yes. Yes, very
दिस इज माय
yes, ma'am. Very true. Very truly, you have said that. So I'll begin. So letting go, it doesn't mean that we forget or we stop caring. It means that we have to release that emotional attachment to something that is no longer serving our growth, to someone or something that no longer has a purpose in our life. We have to release that emotional attachment to associated with that thing or that person. So it's basically about shifting our perspective, where we have to shift from control to acceptance of the fact that that thing or person has gone. We have to let it go. And also from resistance to peace, to establishing peace with that situation. Like for example, after a breakup of a relationship, somebody would keep checking their ex-partners social media daily, maybe not because they want them back, but because they have established that emotional bond and they are unable to let go of that bond. So this is also like one of the primary reason that we build that emotional bond with somebody, and this concept is also deep rooted in psychology. So we'll talk about two concepts that explain this. So firstly is attachment theory by John Bowlby, which says that emotional bonds, they form the foundation of how we relate. Like as soon as we have this innate need to form emotional bonds, like an infant has with its primary caregiver. So it is an innate need. And secondly, the acceptance and commitment therapy, the ACT therapy. This also states, like, the whole point of this therapy is to accept our emotions, what we are feeling, and then to commit to things that, help us improve our life. So one question that I would like to ask that you can reflect on is that what's one thing or person that has been the hardest for you to let go of, and why? Like if somebody would want to share it with us, it would be really nice. We could all get an insight.
Ma'am, when we talk about acceptance theory, इसमें क्या होता है कि this is very powerful word, but this is very difficult to accept. वर्ड बहुत अच्छा है, और जब हम acceptance की बात करते हैं, जब हम अपने काउंसलिंग सेशंस में इस तरह की बात करते हैं कि आप एक्सेप्ट कीजिए यू आर, तो सामने वाला इंसान इस एक्सेप्टेंस के वर्ड की पावर को नहीं समझता, और वो क्रॉस क्वेश्चनिंग ये करता है, उसके सामने ये चीज आती है कि भाई मैं ही क्यों एक्सेप्ट करूं, क्योंकि अगर आप जब एक्सेप्ट करते हैं, व्हेन यू एक्सेप्ट सम रॉन्ग थिंग्स, तो दैट मीन्स यू आर ट्राइंग टू डू राइट दैट थिंग्स, कि हाँ अगर कुछ गलत हुआ है तो हम उसे सही कर, मतलब सही करने की जो जर्नी है वो शुरू तभी होती है जब हम ये एक्सेप्ट कर लेते हैं कि हाँ हमने ये गलत किया है या यहाँ पर हम गलत थे। तो पहला जो ब्लॉक होता है, पहला जो ब्लॉकेज आता है, वो यहीं पर आता है कि एक्सेप्टेंस ही नहीं आती।
या एग्जैक्टली।
हाँ, क्योंकि मतलब यू आर अ साइकोलॉजी स्टूडेंट, और मैं भी बहुत टाइम से काम कर रही हूँ इस चीज में। तो मेरा कहने का मतलब सिर्फ ये है कि मेन पॉइंट है एक्सेप्टेंस थ्योरी की, जब हम बात करते हैं तो एक्सेप्टेंस थ्योरी की बात ही मतलब ह्यूमन बिहेवियर पर बिल्कुल सटीक और बिल्कुल एग्जैक्टली वैसे काम नहीं करती, क्योंकि अगर लोग एक्सेप्ट ही कर लें तो फिर मैं समझती हूँ कि बहुत सारी प्रॉब्लम्स तो ऑटोमेटिकली ठीक हो जाए। हाँ मेरी गलती है, और मैं इसको आगे से इम्प्रोवाइज करने की कोशिश करूंगा, तो सामने वाले के एटीट्यूड में भी चेंज आता है।
हाँ मतलब मे बी वी कैन
This
ऑल्सो,
जी
मतलब we can by accept करना, we can start accepting our emotions first. अगर सिचुएशन एक्सेप्ट करना मुश्किल हो रहा है कि ऐसा क्यों हो गया मेरे साथ, मैं क्यों एक्सेप्ट करूं, मे बी हम अपने इमोशंस को एक्सेप्ट करना स्टार्ट कर सकते हैं, कि मैं अभी इस टाइम ये फील कर रहा हूँ, एंड आई अलाउ माई बॉडी टू फील इट, सो दैट बाद में जाके इट डज नॉट, अगर हम सप्रेस करेंगे तो बाद में जाके इट विल cause an harm to us. So we can like start by accepting our emotions first. Then slowly we
हाँ,
can.
यहाँ पर हम एक बात कह सकते हैं, मुझे जो समझ आ रही है, मतलब आपके अकॉर्डिंगली या मेरा भी जो एक्सपीरियंस है, वो ये कह सकता है कि एक्सेप्टेंस का हमें मूड देखना होगा कि उस वक्त सामने वाला इंसान या जिससे हम जो भी एक्सेप्ट कराना चाहते हैं वो किस मूड में है, मूड पे डिपेंड करता है। वही अगर पॉजिटिव मूड में है, मान लीजिए कई बार हंसी मजाक में कुछ ऐसी बातें निकल आती हैं जो हमें हर्ट करती हैं, तो अगर हंसी मजाक में हम उसे कहते हैं कि नहीं भाई आगे से तो मुझे ऐसे नहीं बोलना, और दिस इज रॉन्ग, और मतलब बहुत हर्टिंग वर्ड्स है, तो अगर अच्छे मूड में है तो वो एक्सेप्ट कर लेगा, अच्छा ठीक है, इट विल नॉट हैपन इन अगेन। बट अगर वो अच्छे मूड में नहीं है तो वी हैव टू वेट फॉर द गुड मूड, तब हम उसे समझाएं, क्योंकि वो कहते हैं गुस्से में अगर कोई भी चीज आप समझाएंगी तो उसका एक्शन का रिएक्शन होगा, लेकिन मूड अच्छा होगा तो आप वही चीज, वही सेम चीज हम उसको समझाएंगे, तो हम एक पॉसिबिलिटी देख सकते हैं कि वो चीजें एक्सेप्टेबल हो जाएं।
हाँ, that is also depends on the mood also sometimes. Yes,
कि
right.
आपने एक एक्सेप्टेंस थ्योरी बताई, और दूसरी थ्योरी कौन सी बताई है?
Ma'am, attachment theory by John Bowlby, like which.
ठीक है, जॉन बॉल्बी, ओके।
Shall I move on?
यस मैम, यस।
So then we'll talk about that. Why do we hold on? So, it's biologically also that, our brains, it crave that familiarity. Even though, it is painful for us, it gives us a sense of, even though a false sense of control and identity. And the main underlying reasons for it could be, firstly, there is fear of change and uncertainty. Even though that familiarity is painful to us, but, we are still not able to let it go because we fear that change. Like, what will happen now? There is uncertainty associated. So we keep on holding on to that thing. And secondly is emotional dependency, like we talked about in previous slide also, that we are emotionally dependent on that thing and we are not able to let it go. And thirdly could be that there are unresolved guilt or regret associated with it. Maybe a thing or like situation ended and you did not get maybe a proper closure. So there may be, feelings of guilt that are associated with it, which is unresolved. So you are not able to let that go and you still keep to hold on to that thing. And then it could be idealization of the past where the present situation is so difficult and unpleasant for you. So then you start idealizing your past, that pehle to matlab sab acha tha, even though it was not that good, but you would idealize it in a way. You would start compare it to the present moment, and then you'll feel that you'll start to glorify your past in a way, so that gives you like pleasure sometimes. So you still think about it and you hold on to it and you're not able to let go. And lastly, you face feelings of low self-worth. Example, if a person leaves your life and then you'll suddenly feel very low, like you make that person a part of yourself. It is like your other half. And when that half is gone, you suddenly feel very low self-worth. You're like, if I let that go, then who I am without that person. You start to question your self-worth, which is also a main reason that you keep to hold on to that thing. It also applies in terms of friendship also. Sometimes people stay in a toxic friendship where you are mistreated, because you fear loneliness. That fear of loneliness is more than being mistreated. So you're not able to let go, you hold on to that friendship. So a reflective prompt is there, like you can reflect on that. What emotion are you actually afraid to feel if you let go? Like, what is that emotion which you're very much afraid to feel if you let go of something? If anybody would like to answer that. We are afraid to feel many emotions. It could be loneliness, like in friendship. Anybody would like to share?
When it comes to reflective feelings, one of my clients, he was dealing in a separation. What he says is like, the warmth that I get from my partner, I don't get it from anywhere. I know that my partner is bullying me and the relationship is not fine. Yet, the minute my partner hugs me, that is different. Even if somebody hugs me, I don't get that feeling. That warmth and comfort is different, which others are not able to provide, which is making me stick to him. I hold it on. I know it is harmful. That was the feeling that he was expressing.
Yeah, right. Okay, thank you, sir, for sharing that. I'll move on now. Okay, then now we'll talk about the cost that we have to pay if we keep on holding on. So firstly, like the biggest cost that we have to pay is, we have to pay it emotionally. We face emotional exhaustion where we face anxiety. We have sleepless nights. We're not able to sleep because we engage in rumination. We think of that same thought again and again, due to which our sleep pattern is like fully disturbed. We are not able to sleep. Then there's difficulty in forming new relationships. You are also afraid to form new relationships because of the fear that this relationship would also not work out like the way the previous one ended. This would also end in the same way, or you would start to compare, that previous one was like this. You would start comparing, so you're not able to form those new relationships. Then you'll also have a distorted like self perception. There would be like discrepancy between who you really are and what you feel you are right now, considering the situation. It would also affect your self perception. For example, a person, he replays a past argument for months where he would try to rewrite the ending. He has trapped themselves in a mental loop. So this way One activity that we can do, or we can also ask our clients to do, is that where we draw two circles, and in one circle they write things that they can control, and in another circle they write things that they cannot control. And these things can include their everyday stressors, current stressors that they are facing. They can categorize them into the ones that they can control and the ones that they cannot control, and we can discuss it with them. And also, would anybody like to say, like, the current stresses that they are facing, if anybody want to categorize it into the ones that they can control and one cannot control? Like, you can name one thing which you feel you can control and one thing which you cannot control. Like, would anybody would like to say? It can be about anything, any stressor that you're facing, or anything that which you feel is out of your control, and something which you feel that you can control to some extent. Would like to categorize it? Would somebody like to see?
It's like, there's a client who is dealing with relationship issue.
Mm-hmm.
So the client's partner was into a extramarital relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So, which later on it came up to the open, and then they had fights and discussions, everything.
Mm-hmm.
But currently, what the client is dealing with is the client is okay with the partner.
Mm-hmm.
However, the client is not able to forget the person with whom the partner had an extramarital affair.
Mm-hmm.
So it is so much so, like, even when they are close to each other, the other person's face is visible for
Mm-hmm.
the client. So that is where, like, that which is not under her control.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, whatever that ex person has done, that have already been done, which is not under her control. What is under her control is her feelings and emotions.
Yeah.
And that is something that she can regulate. But what is there with the third person with whom the partner had an extramarital affair? She doesn't have any control over the person, her behavior, or whatever the person is doing. So that is where we'll try to say, that falls under the influence circle.
Yeah.
The third person's actions and behaviors, they fall under the influence circle, for which she doesn't have any control. Yeah.
Thank you, sir, for sharing that. I'll move on now. Now we'll talk about the stages of letting go. How can we let go of something step by step? So the first stage is awareness, where we name the attachment, like what it is that we are, attached to. Is it the person? Is it the memory of that person? Like, we name that attachment. Second stage is acceptance, where we allow our emotions, we accept our emotions, like we talked previously also. And the third stage is release, where we break that emotional cycle, we release all that negativity. And the fourth stage is renewal, where we create space for our growth, where we bring positive changes in our lives. So we'll talk about these stages one by one. So the first stage is awareness, where we name the attachment, because we cannot release something that we have not acknowledged yet. So firstly, we'll name it. We can ask ourselves that what exactly it is that I'm holding on to. Is it the person? Is it the memory? Is it the identity? Or is it the fact that what could have been? Like, what exactly it is? Firstly, we'll name it. And then the second stage is of acceptance, where we allow our emotions, because if we avoid our emotions, that pain will be there. It will stay alive, and healing will only begin when we start to accept the emotion, the situations. So, emotions are like waves. If we stop fighting them, they will like pass naturally. So a small exercise that we can do in this stage is that we can close our eyes and complete the sentence like, right now I'm feeling blank, and that's okay. Where we think that what it is we are feeling, and then we accept it side by side that I'm feeling this and it is okay. Okay, then the third stage is release, where we break the emotional cycle. So, release is like when we stop feeding that emotional loop. Maybe we delete the old chats, maybe we stop visiting certain places, or we just, decide to stop rereading the memories. So, we can visualize this. We can do an activity to practice this release, where we can visualize that we have placed the memory that we want to let go of into like a hot air balloon. We have placed our memory in it, and then we watch it float away. And that would give us that sense that we are releasing that thing. It is going from up from our body. We are no longer holding it. This thing we can do. And the next stage is of renewal, where we create space for growth. So, renewal is when peace and new energy begins to appear. Like when, we let go, we make that space for growth, self-love, and purpose. And, we have to ask ourselves that, what positive space is opening up as I release what hurts me. That space is being created, and we have to fill that space with something positive in this stage. Okay. Next, we'll talk about the counseling strategies for detachment. We have to detach from that thing to let it go. So here are 5 main counseling approaches that usually help people to detach in healthy ways. So first is mindful acceptance, which is a part of the acceptance and commitment therapy approach. And second is cognitive reframing, which is a CBT technique. Third is the self-compassion practices. And then is value clarification, where we clarify our values. And lastly is behavioral activation, where we inculcate certain behaviors, positive. One. So the first approach is the mindful acceptance approach. So acceptance is it does not mean that we approve of whatever happened in our life. It just means that we stop denying it, and we face that pain mindfully, because when we face that pain mindfully, it loses that power over you. So we have to mindfully accept that thing, and we can ask the participants to write a sentence that says that even though this hurts, I choose to blank. They can complete the sentence, which will give them insight, where they can mindfully accept the situation. For example, even though this hurts, I choose to maybe focus on myself. I choose to engage in behaviors that help me grow. These things this statement can be asked. And next is cognitive reframing, which is a CBT technique. So, like our thoughts, they shape our pain. And CBT teaches us to reframe the sentences. We have to replace our negative thoughts to ones which are more positive and pleasing. So, for example, if somebody has this thought that, I'll never find somebody like them, it can be reframed into that, I'm creating space for someone who is better suited to me. Or maybe if somebody is like, if I move on, it means that I never cared. They can reframe it into something that, I can care, but I can still choose myself. It's not that I don't care, but I, choose myself. So we can use this technique with the clients, CBT, which has always been effective. So I'll move on. Okay, so then is self-compassion practices. So, healing starts with gentleness, not judgment. So we have to be gentle with ourselves. That is like the first step of letting go. And an exercise that we can do here is we can write a self-compassion letter to ourselves, and as if we were comforting a friend. We can write that letter in a way as if we are comforting a friend, and there, we can say that, what we wish somebody would have told us back then. We can write this letter in this way. We can also repeat affirmations like, I release what no longer serves me. I trust my healing. So, this will help to build inner warmth and forgiveness. Then the next technique is value clarification. So, when we reconnect to our values like peace, authenticity, or growth, so detachment, it feels meaningful. It becomes easier when we remember what truly matters for us. For this, we can, ask ourselves that what values do I want to live by now? Peace, freedom, authenticity, like what it is. And we can conduct this exercise where we can ask, we can list our top three values. It is maybe growth, freedom, like whatever it is. And then we can write one small action that aligns with that value. So would somebody would like to share their values that they think are important to them, and any one small step that they do or they would like to do that would align with that values? If somebody would like to share what values are important to you and one small action that they do or want to do that aligns with their values. Be anything in general life also. If somebody would like to share their insight. Okay. Okay, maybe then I can say that one value which is important for me is my personal growth. And one small action that I can do is maybe prioritize myself above everything and focus on myself, my studies, my physical health, my mental health. That is for me. If anybody would like to share theirs, they can say. Okay, if not, then we can move on.
हेलो
Hello, yes, ma'am.
मैम, अगर हम मेंटल हेल्थ की बात करें, जैसे कि हम साइकोलॉजी में हमारे लिए मेंटल हेल्थ बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है और हम उसी पर काम कर रहे हैं। मेंटल हेल्थ की हम बात करें तो जैसे अभी हम डिटैचमेंट थ्योरी की बात कर रहे हैं, तो मेरे पास ऐसे ही एक केस आया था अभी काफी टाइम पहले। तो उसमें ये था कि वाइफ जो है ना, वो बहुत फ्लेक्सिबल माइंड की थी और उसे डाउट था कि उसके हस्बैंड का कहीं कोई रिलेशन है। बट ही वॉज अ ब्यूरोक्रेट, तो वो कभी भी जब भी सेशन में आते थे तो वो कभी भी बोलते नहीं थे, मतलब चुप रहते थे एक तरह से। उन्होंने उनका टूल एंड टेक्निक ये था, मुझे जो समझ में आया, कि चुप रहो तो आप कुछ कह नहीं सकते। मतलब जब आप कुछ बोलोगे ही नहीं तो सामने वाला आपको कभी जज ही नहीं करेगा कि आप गलत हो या सही हो। हाँ,
हाँ।
तो वहां पे बात जजमेंट की नहीं होती कि हम जजमेंट करते हैं, हमें तो ये निकालना होता है कि हम प्रॉब्लम को सॉर्ट आउट कैसे कर सकते हैं, दैट्स इट। तो उसमें क्या था कि मतलब जो फ्लेक्सिबल माइंड का है वो तो बहुत एगर है, शी वॉज वेरी एगर टू चेंज हर सेल्फ, बट हस्बैंड इज नॉट रेडी टू चेंज हिमसेल्फ। हाँ, तो ऐसे में क्या होता है कि जब हम डिटैचमेंट की बात करते हैं तो धीरे 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 इमोशनली हम एग्जॉस्ट होने लगते हैं, क्योंकि हमारी उससे जो भी उम्मीदें हैं हमारी, मतलब एक एक्सपेक्ट तो करते ही हैं कि एज अ पार्टनर कि हाँ भाई ये यहाँ चेंज हो जाए, यहाँ ये चेंज हो जाए। बट एक सर्टेन पीरियड के बाद या सर्टेन पॉइंट के बाद ना, मतलब मुझे लगता है कि हम डिटैच हो जाते हैं कि यार इसको समझा के, इसको बार बार बोल के, इसको कह के हमें ना खुद ही मतलब इंसल्ट फील होने लगती है। हाँ, या फिर ये गिल्ट डेवलप होने लगता है कि यार मैं इसको क्यों समझाता हूँ बार बार, या मैं इसे क्यों समझाती हूँ, कहती हूँ तो इसने करना अपने मन का ही है, मेरी बात माननी नहीं है इसने। तो वहां वो डिटैच तो हो ही जाएगा, जो भी पार्टनर होगा, मेल फीमेल जो भी होगा, वो डिटैच तो हो जाएगा। लेकिन उसके साथ साथ कहीं कहीं ना, मतलब उसमें गिल्ट के फोल्ड्स भी बन जाएंगे। मुझे ऐसा फील होता है कि भाई, क्योंकि देखिए जब डिटैच हो गया तो मतलब उसे कोई मतलब नहीं रहा कि भाई ये कुछ भी करे, मतलब मेरे लिए तो ही इज नॉट फिट फॉर मी और शी इज नॉट फिट फॉर मी, ये वाला चीज डेवलप होनी शुरू हो जाएगी। हम डिटैच हो गए, ठीक है, हमने छोड़ दिया कि हम इससे कोई उम्मीद नहीं रखेंगे, लेकिन जो गिल्ट डेवलप हुआ उसका क्या करेंगे, उसको कैसे रिमूव करेंगे? हम तो चलो साइकोथेरेपी के थ्रू कर देते हैं इस चीज को कि नहीं कोई बात नहीं, अगर सामने वाला चेंज नहीं हो रहा, जैसे आपने एक एक्टिविटी दी अभी, दैट इज वेरी गुड एक्टिविटी, कि जो चीजें आप कंट्रोल नहीं कर सकते, व्हाई आर यू प्रेशराइजिंग योरसेल्फ? हाँ, नहीं कर सकते, नहीं कर सकते, छोड़ दीजिए उन चीजों को। लेकिन फैमिली में रह के नहीं हो सकती, आप उन चीजों को नहीं छोड़ सकते। या तो आप अलग हो जाओ, अगर आप सेपरेट हो गए तो, क्योंकि होता ना एक वो है कि भाई जो चीज आंखों से दूर हो जाती है वो दिल और दिमाग से भी दूर हो जाती है, लेकिन जो चीज आंखों के सामने है, आप उसे रोज देख रहे हो, हर पल देख रहे हो, तो वो आपको डिस्टर्ब करेगी करेगी। क्योंकि फैमिली का बॉन्ड ही फिर वैसे फैमिली के बॉन्डिंग नहीं है, इमोशनल बॉन्ड नहीं है, बट कहीं ना कहीं फिजिकल बॉन्ड तो है ही ना, फिजिकली तो दिखाई दे ही रहा है। तो उस गिल्ट को कैसे ठीक करेंगे, क्योंकि वो गिल्ट अगर डेवलप होगा तो फिर से मेंटल हेल्थ खराब करेगा, क्रिएटिविटी खराब हो जाएगी, प्रोडक्टिविटी नहीं है। जब क्रिएटिव नहीं रहेंगे तो प्रोडक्टिविटी खुद ही खराब हो जाती है, कि भाई काम करने में, और सेल्फ एफिशिएंसी, लो कॉन्फिडेंस तो आ ही जाता है कि यार मैं इसको कितना समझाऊं, मतलब खुद ही वो बीमार रहने लगता है। तो इस गिल्ट के फोर्स को हम कैसे रिमूव कर सकते हैं?
हाँ, मतलब उसके लिए मतलब बहुत ज्यादा हाई लेवल का एक्सेप्टेंस चाहिए, जो कि नहीं आ पाता, जैसे आपने पहले भी कहा था, जब फैमिली एसोसिएटेड होती है तो लाइक फैमिली मेंबर्स के साथ काफी डिफिकल्ट हो जाता है। तो आई
इवन
थिंक
लवर्स में भी है, इवन लवर्स में भी है, जो आजकल एक्स्ट्रा मैरिटल अफेयर के जो केसेस आ रहे हैं उनमें भी ये सेम चीज है। अभी एक केस मैंने सुना था कि 11 साल से लिव इन में रह रहे हैं और 11 महीने शादी को हो गए, मतलब 11 साल के बाद उन्होंने शादी की, और 11 महीने के बाद दे वांट डिवोर्स फ्रॉम ईच अदर। तो भाई 11 साल आपने क्या किया जो आप एक साथ रहे, और अब जब एक महीने, मतलब 11 महीनों से आप एक साथ में रह रहे हैं, और इतना चीखा चिल्ली एक दूसरे के ऊपर कि उनको देखकर लग ही नहीं रहा था कि वो दे आर लवर्स। नॉट मतलब आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट ओनली फैमिली, आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट कपल्स ऑल्सो, कि हाँ, मतलब वो तो एक्स्ट्रा मैरिटल अफेयर नहीं था, मतलब ये था कि लिव इन के बाद शादी हुई। तो इवन ये चीज लवर्स में भी है, मतलब लवर्स में भी वो होता है ना, वो मतलब ये चीज मैंने देखी कि जब तक गर्लफ्रेंड है बहुत अच्छा लगता है गर्लफ्रेंड को, लेकिन जैसे ही अगर वो फॉर्चुनेटली वाइफ बन जाए, तो वहां उसका एटीट्यूड चेंज हो जाता है कि नहीं, पहले तो मेरी इतनी केयर होती थी, अब यू आर नॉट केयरिंग मी। तो वहां पे एक्सेप्टेंस वहां भी नहीं आ पाती है।
राइट राइट, ट्रू। अभी तो आई हैव नॉट बीन एबल टू गेट दैट मच एक्सपोजर, जितना एक्सपीरियंस आपके पास है, सो आई मीन यू हैव अ लॉट ऑफ इनसाइट, से आई एम आल्सो गेटिंग टू नो सो मेनी थिंग्स, बट इन
वो
फ्यूचर।
हाँ, थैंक यू सो मच, थैंक यू सो मच। वो उसमें मुझे ऐसा फील होता है कि हाँ, धीरे धीरे डिटैचमेंट थ्योरी पर आ जाएगा इंसान। फिर मतलब उसे थोड़ी सी, जैसे आपने बताया, माइंडफुल एक्सरसाइज करनी पड़ेंगी, या इसमें मैं सबसे ज्यादा प्रेफर करती हूँ स्पिरिचुअल हीलिंग को। अगर आप किसी को बोलते हैं, मतलब, और ये होता है, स्पिरिचुअलिटी को आप इग्नोर नहीं कर सकते, कि देखिए एक टाइम पीरियड के लिए एक मंच पर डायरेक्टर ने किसी का कैरेक्टर डिसाइड किया, तो वो एक सर्टेन पीरियड के लिए ही वो कैरेक्टर आया है ना, वो पूरी जिंदगी भर तो रोल नहीं निभाएगा। कभी कभी क्या होता है कि
हाँ।
किसी एक के आने से दूसरे का रोल का इफेक्ट कम हो जाता है। एग्जाम्पल, कि जब तक हम फादर के साथ रहते हैं, फादर का रोल इंपॉर्टेंट होता है। व्हेन वी गेट मैरिड तो हस्बैंड का रोल इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है। वहां पे रोल फेडनेस आ जाती है, रोल थोड़ी सी ये होता है कि हाँ, उनका रोल थोड़ा फीका पड़ जाता है, दैट इज। तो वहां पे ऐसे अगर हम कहें तो शायद ये चीज थोड़ी सी स्पिरिचुअली अगर हम हील करें, क्योंकि मैं स्पिरिचुअली ही, मतलब स्पिरिचुअली भी हील करती हूँ इस चीज को लेके, कि कोई बात नहीं, आप थोड़ा सा वेट कीजिए, थोड़ा, हाँ, पेशेंस, यहाँ पे पेशेंस काम करती है, कि चीजें जो हैं जो रातों रात ठीक नहीं होंगी, इट विल टेक सम टाइम, और हो सकता है कि लॉन्ग टाइम भी लें। तो तब तक आप, अगर ऐसा कुछ होता है, क्योंकि बहुत सारे मेल्स फीमेल के पास, मैम, फाइनेंशियली दे आर नॉट साउंड, तो दे आर नॉट, दे आर रेडी टू टेक डिवोर्स, बट दे आर नॉट इन दैट पोजीशन कि वो डिवोर्स ले सके, क्योंकि फाइनेंशियल को हम इग्नोर नहीं कर सकते, फाइनेंस को। तो वहां पे हम उनको ये थेरेपी दे सकते हैं कि हाँ, स्पिरिचुअली अगर हम उनकी एनर्जी शिफ्टिंग प्रोग्राम में हम लोग यही करते हैं, कि वो एनर्जी शिफ्टिंग प्रोग्राम भी बहुत डिफिकल्ट है, बट हाँ, प्रैक्टिस अगर रोज रोज कराएं तो हो जाती है, थोड़े दिनों बाद रिजल्ट्स आने शुरू हो जाते हैं इस चीज के। तो यहाँ पे इस तरीके से हम काम कर सकते हैं, मतलब गिल्ट्स को इस तरह से कम किया जा सकता है। ये मेरा एक्सपीरियंस है जो मैं अपने क्लाइंट्स के साथ करती हूँ। तो आई डोंट नो कि ये, लेकिन हाँ, मतलब ये कितना और लोगों के लिए बेटर है या कितना और लोगों के लिए फिट है, बट हाँ मेरे क्लाइंट्स पर काम करता है।
ओके।
उनकी एनर्जी भी शिफ्ट हो जाती है, क्योंकि आपने नेगेटिविटी से आप पॉजिटिविटी में उनको लेके गए कि सब कुछ हमारे हाथ में नहीं होता। मतलब सब कुछ पहले से हर चीज तय होती है, बट हाँ तय चीजों में भी हम कुछ चेंज करें तो वो अच्छी और खराब हो सकती हैं। जैसे कि माइंडसेट, माइंडसेट में बायोलॉजिकल फैक्टर्स का बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट रोल प्ले होता है कि हम कैसे पेरेंट्स से हमने बायोलॉजी, हमारे मतलब कैसे जीन्स हमने इनहेरिट किए हैं वहां से भी। और स्पिरिचुअल हीलिंग बहुत काम करती है गिल्ट्स को कम करने में।
Okay. Thank you, ma'am, for sharing that with us.
Okay.
थैंक यू सो मच।
Can I come in?
Yes.
यस यस,
Yeah,
यू कैन कम।
I just joined 10, 15 minutes ago. I think in all such cases, I suppose, like, no, like if you can, you have to accept that she wants to give a divorce. Yes, even if you, as a counselor, you can say, yes, probably initially, even if I were to be in your place, I would think of the same thing. Because whatever she is going through, or maybe it's an imagined thing or it's a realistic thing, it may be happening, but you side with the counselee initially so that she comes out, trusts you, and comes out with her own reasons. So when you come to know about the reasons of the person who wants to give divorce, then you find out the causes. Where did it begin from? What is the root cause? So when you go to the root cause, start analyzing how it started, where it started. So then probably as a counselor, you'll be able to find out the exact root cause for this particular feeling of giving a divorce after 11 years of 11 months of this. And once you do this, then trace back to their days of emotions where they had that compatibility, how they lived, make them revisit their illustrious life they had. Probably, and when the pain of the counseling will start listening to you, keep placing, then probably may want all threadbare with, so that something tangible will out of the continued conversations with the counseling. This is what I believe.
Right. Thank
यू
you.
आर एब्सोल्युटली राइट, यू आर एब्सोल्युटली राइट कि जब तक हमें रूट कॉजेस का नहीं पता चलेगा वो कहाँ से शुरू हुए तो उनकी हीलिंग की हम बात ही नहीं कर सकते। हमें पता भी चलना चाहिए कि प्रॉब्लम कहाँ से शुरू हुई है, प्रॉब्लम के फैक्टर्स क्या क्या हैं। अगर वन बाय वन हम उन पर डिस्कशन करें और उनको पॉजिटिवली सुलझाएं और कहें या बताएं उनको, तो वी कैन सॉल्व द प्रॉब्लम। और इट वाज जस्ट अ केस जो मैं किसी पुलिस स्टेशन में गई थी, वहां मैंने देखा था ये बात हो रही थी, तो मैंने ये चीज यहाँ पे रखनी चाहिए कि कॉजेज अगर हम निकालेंगे तो बहुत सारे निकल आएंगे, बट आई डोंट नो कि क्या उनके फैक्टर्स थे नहीं थे। बट हाँ ये बात आपने सही कही है, सो आई एग्री विद यू कि हाँ ऐसा मतलब रूट कॉजेज पर काम किए बगैर तो आप किसी भी डिसीजन पर और किसी भी नतीजे पर नहीं पहुंच सकते।
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am, for sharing that with us.
Thank you.
थैंक यू मैम।
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I'll move on to the next technique, which is behavioral activation, which talks about that shift where we channelize our energy into a more positive way. Like ma'am talked about spirituality, where we shift that energy. So that helps ma'am. So in terms of behavioral activities, we can also do it. Like when something leaves our life, we have to fill that gap with purpose, like not with emptiness. So we can try simple activities that bring calm or joy to us. For example, journaling, or maybe if somebody's good at art, they can practice art. We can go for nature walks, like we can go like every evening, even for 15 to 20 minutes, we can go for a walk in a park, or we can do some volunteering work, which gives us a sense of happiness, and we can learn new skills. We can update our skills. We can learn many new things. So we can also ask the participants to do this activity where create a healing routine, and there they will add daily one act that nourishes their peace, that adds brings joy or calm to their life. So we can do this activity with them. Okay. Nextly, we'll talk about detachment in different contexts. So sometimes we have to let go of relationships, or we have to let go after a loss of somebody or grief. We have to let go of our grief. And thirdly, it can be letting go of past versions of ourselves, and also letting go of control and outcomes and things that are like not in our control. We'll talk about them one by one. So, firstly, is letting go of relationships. Like sometimes we stay emotionally stuck in a relationship because there is fear or there is dependency. So, like we have to recognize those patterns, like it is the constant checking, it is self blame, or idealizing the past. And like healthy detachment, it means like keeping love, but we need to release that need to control or chase. We have to build emotional independence, and we have to set boundaries. Then there is letting go after a loss or a grief. So here, letting go, it doesn't mean forgetting. It means making peace with what was. It is applicable in terms of if we have lost a loved one. So you can honor them by doing some kind of rituals, like you can write letters to them, you can light candles and express your gratitude for the moments that you shared. You can remember the good memories that you hold, and that grief changes its shape when we give meaning to it. So nextly is letting go of past versions of yourself. I think the meeting ended. Okay, is my screen visible?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so then I was talking about letting go of the past versions of yourself. So, like sometimes, the hardest person to forgive is our own self. We blame ourselves for the mistakes that we made in the past, or, we maybe sometimes we stayed somewhere for too long. We think about all the years, all the time that we have wasted on a person, maybe that was not worth it. So, we are not able to forgive ourselves sometimes. So, one thing which we need to really focus our insight on is that we are allowed to outgrow who we once were, and we have to forgive ourselves for things that we did which we think are wrong. So one thing that we can do is we can ask ourselves this question, and we can write it down, the statement that one thing that I forgive my past self for is this. We can think about it, and we can say that we forgive ourselves for this thing. And then is letting go of control and outcomes. Sometimes we often suffer because we want to control things. We want control over how things turn out, but which is not always possible because things are not always in our hands. So, we can always make effort, but the outcome is not in our hands. Like, peace comes when we focus on our effort and not the outcome. So the only mantra for this is, we have to repeat to ourselves that I focus on effort, not the outcome. I choose to make my efforts. I can work on my efforts, but the outcome is not in my hands. So, and we have to notice how freeing that feels when we say that to ourselves. And then another technique is reconnecting with self. So, letting go, it's not just about what we release, it's about what we return to. Like, we have to return to ourselves, we have to reconnect with ourselves, where we can now, reinvest our time in our hobbies. And also, we can engage in spirituality, like ma'am also told. And we can always focus on our friendships, and we have to take time for solitude, mindfulness, creative work, or spirituality. For this, we can ask ourselves that what are the things that makes us feel alive and peaceful. And we can always reconnect with ourselves, go back to our hobbies, the things that which we used to do before, which we now left, and we have to reconnect with those things. It will give us a sense of purpose and meaning.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Sorry, ma'am.
There is one question, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
You are saying ki, efforts in my hand, but outcomes is not in my hand. Then it is the right solution of our emotions, or we just doing adjustment? I'm
Like,
audible, ma'am?
yes, you're audible.
Hmm.
Like, the efforts is in our hands, like, but the outcome is not, in the way that, sometimes we really want something to happen. For example, it is maybe a job opportunity for somebody. Like, the effort is in your hand, you are working for it, you are working really hard, but sometimes you don't get it, not because you did not do enough, but maybe because somebody else was given that opportunity, or it could be anything, like you did not get it, something that you really wanted to. And that is what sometimes you have to accept, that it is not in your control. You would get all anxious that why did not I get it. You would really want to control your life situations, but sometimes it's just not there. And you have to accept it in the way that I did my efforts, I did everything I can. There's nothing wrong with me, I did what I was supposed to do. How much I like 100%, I gave my 100%, but sometimes that outcome is not in your hands. So that is what you have to accept sometimes.
Sorry, ma'am. Just I'm asking कि I thought कि ठीक है, that situation is not my hand. I'm doing my efforts, all efforts, but I didn't get result. Okay. Then I think there will be not peace in mind. According to me, if I'm just कि we are doing just adjustment, according to me, this.
I mean, we have to adjust like that. Yeah, we don't have that peace in our mind कि वो चीज चाहिए थी, वो चीज नहीं मिला. And we can, I think, get that peace by acknowledging our efforts. Like, at least I did my 100%. At least I did whatever I can. There was nothing wrong with me. Maybe the situation was not good for me, and that is how we can build our peace, by acknowledging our efforts. That's what I meant.
Also the outcome does not always depend on our own self or including the effort. Sometimes it may be concerned with the external things. The outcome also based on the impact and influence of the external things. So if it is only in your hand, in your effort, that outcome is sealed, then and your outcome is, if your effort is good or not, that will seal the outcome. But if it is connected to external circumstances, other human beings, suppose you run a school or a college or an institution, the success of a particular project depends on how the entire team gets aligned to that particular thing. That's one. So effort, is it only individual effort or group effort, are people whoever are connected to that particular piece of work or a project. So the outcome depends on all these things. So, but if you focus on the effort, and the problem is when you focus on the outcome, that is a tragedy. Most of the parents want the children's performance, the outcome only, but the process they never ever bother about it. So effort, of course, is required. There's no doubt about it. But then, if how quality effort, high quality effort is required, that only needs to be thought about. That only needs to be put in place. As you go on doing it, mostly you will reach at your outcome. That should not be a big constraint. But we need to discriminate between whether the outcome is dependent only on my effort or also that certain other external agencies, including people and circumstances.
Right.
Yes, yes, sir. There is one client. There is not bonding with her husband, and she didn't. I think lot of efforts, but she didn't get that type result. So what will she do?
Yeah, in that case, no, he is putting effort from one side, but whereas two people are involved in this. So there is no.
So I am asking, if one person is doing just efforts and didn't get result, that I think it's not possible.
It won't. You won't get the outcome. It is not possible to get the outcome.
So that is I'm asking. What will you do that time?
But at that time, they need to understand that the outcome of this can be possible only when two souls come together in their conversation, communication, in their exchange of views, and how they, deliberate the things, and how they, give into the, feelings of others. So that kind of a approach, that kind of compatibility will have to arise in the course of communication, conversation. So only focus from one side, effort from one side will not lead to a solution when more than one person is involved in that particular issue.
That I am asking, sir. Okay, that person, she said, my husband is don't want to listen me, and he is not ready to do all these things. So I am asking, what she will do that time?
She will. It's a through continuous process, continuous dialogue. Only these things can happen. And again, psychological counseling as a reframing, cognitive reframing,
But
and
her husband is not ready to
they won't.
ready for counseling.
So they should go for ready for counseling. You have to accept him to come to the counseling part. If she is not able to convince him, at least she should be able to, in the interest of the family, in the interest of our own children, ourselves. Let's go once. Let's go once. Whatever happens, let us accept it little later. So you need to use your good offices to convince your spouse to at least go to a counselor when nothing is happening at the home front through discussions.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, madam.
Okay, next is affirming a new narrative, where like letting go, it means to like now rewriting your story. I lost something, it becomes into I learned something. Again, we have to replace our thoughts. Like I was abandoned, we can replace it to I found myself. So it is also like similar to CBT, where we now rewrite our story, we replace our thoughts, and we can ask the clients to, do this activity where we ask them to write their new chapter statement. Like you have to write from today onward, I choose to blank, and they feel that sentence. Like a new beginning has started for them, and a new life chapter has started for them, and they have to make their statement like from today onwards what they choose to do. Then is cultivating hope and resilience. Like every ending, it carries a hidden beginning. So letting go, it also builds resilience. Like it teaches you that you are strong enough, and you can always get up from that situation. The faith that we can rebuild after anything. It gives you that resilience, that strength. And we have to ask yourself that what has this process taught us about our own strength. Because it's not always negative. Maybe we learned a life lesson which helps us to gain insight into our own strength, and we can think about how that letting go, what it has taught us about our own strengths. Then a little reflection. I would like to add two statements. That is, letting go is not losing, it's choosing peace over pain and growth over attachment. Like that pain is there, but you have to choose peace over it. And that attachment might be there, but you have to choose your personal growth over it. And then healing doesn't mean that the damage never existed. It means it no longer controls your life. Like that damage happened, whatever happened, it existed, but it no longer have that right to control your life. And now you are in control of your life, and you have to start a new journey and make it more positive. That is what we need to get our insight into. So that was all from my side. Thank you everyone for patiently listening, and thank you to sir and ma'am who added their insight, through which I also got to learn a lot. So thank you so much. And if anybody would like to share something or give their insight or feedback, anything, they can share. Anybody would like to add to anything, add a point, or would want to share something, anything, then you guys can unmute or say. So, okay, then ma'am, can we?
Thank you. We got some good insights of how to deal with clients who are not able to let go, be it their emotion or with the things that they are not able to let go by themselves. Thank you. Thank you very much.
But I also got a lot of insight from you. The things that you said were really helpful.
Welcome.
Thank you. Then, ma'am, can we then conclude? Can we end here?
I just joined. Probably it was very interesting and very insightful discussions. Thank you so much. I think.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good night to all of you.
Okay, then we'll end the meeting here. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a good evening. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.